When we live for the fear of God, we remove all those people out of the jury box and stop looking to them for identity. Rather, we look for ways to love them well. Hello, wonderful family in YouTube land. My name is Ariel Katombela and welcome to my YouTube channel. I don't know why I applauded you there. If you're here for the first time, on here I talk about everything pertaining to faith and living a life that is just saturated in the presence of Christ through understanding His Word and through spending time with Him. So if you want to watch more of that kind of content, do subscribe to this channel. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you as we engage in conversation and really delve deeper into what it looks like to be a Christian. So this one has been a massive game changer for me, I must say. And what is that one thing, that one game changer? The fear of man and letting go of that. Yo, guys, I can't even begin to tell you how big that is. I'll tell you why in my own journey, what that looked like and kind of how I found freedom by letting that go. About 5 years ago, I was introduced to the idea of finding out who is in your jury box. Okay, jury box, not a real one. Now in South Africa, we have a very different judicial system. We only have a judge who presides over a case, and whoever is standing trial will be represented by their advocate and etc, etc. But in the States, now if you're from the States and I'm getting this wrong, I rebuke me in the comment section and let me know what the right thing is. But from what I've understood watching in CSI and NYPD Blue and XYZ, anyways, what I learned from those shows is that a jury is a group of people who are randomly selected. So your random citizens, people who are not in the legal system at all. During a case, the jury can preside over the matter and decide the fate of whoever stands in trial. And based on what they feel about this person, they decide on whether the person is guilty or not guilty. And from there, this is the part where I don't get it right, or I might not get it right, it is then the judge's duty to sentence them. I think that's it. So the concept I was introduced to was us as people having this jury box in our lives, our day-to-day lives. So what that is a group of people who have a say in everything that we do. Sometimes these people don't even have a say. However, everything that we do is geared towards this audience who will either affirm or reject us. So for me, this is how the selection process of my jury box went down. The first group of people in my jury box are these. These are the people who I know have rejected me from the beginning. The people I essentially kind of look towards to finally, maybe someday, gain their approval. Like the ones who will never think you're pretty enough, you're smart enough, you can achieve anything. The ones who look down on you for the sake of looking down on you. I think a lot of us go through that, where there's already a group of people, as much as we might not even like them, like they're not even our friends, but when you do anything, whether it's what you dress, what you do, what you say, there's a split second of a moment where you want to glance over at that person who you know disapproves of you and see what their reaction is. Because as much as you're not wanting to impress them, you are still subconsciously inclined to worrying about what they think about you. So that's group one in the jury box. The second group of people in the jury box is people who would affirm you from the beginning. This group of people are the people who are like there for you and they can't see any wrong in you. They're like, we love everything about you. Literally, you can do no wrong in their eyes. However, this can cause you to begin to adjust yourself and wonder what they think about you. Like, you don't want them to lose their affections for you. So you begin to gear everything you're doing towards impressing them as well. Thirdly, strangers. And this is the craziest of the three, because you have no reason to impress strangers at all. Yet we all do this, and I know I have done this. So walking into a new situation with people I don't know, I feel like I have to have the right conversations. I have to dress a certain way to be perceived in a certain way by these people. Without them knowing it, or without them even knowing me, these people become part of my jury. And that section of the jury is crazy because it's always changing and morphing. Probably people that I'll never see again. So crazy as it sounds, but these are the people who I would constantly find myself trying to live for. Now, if you've been in Christian circles for even a short time, you would have heard the phrase, the fear of man. That is exactly what that so-called jury box produces in the life of the person who's standing trial. The fear of man is being overly occupied with people's opinions about you. This is to the point where everything you do is motivated by what people will see you as. In extreme cases, when a person is living for the fear of man, they kind of lose who they are. If somebody asks you, what do you like what's your favorite color, you short circuit. I know I was in this place because I was just like, oh, I don't know what's the right answer here. Like, when functioning out of a place of the fear of man, our motivations are very, very tainted. As much as we are consumed by our fear of people, everything that we do comes from an overflow of, it's gonna sound a little bit harsh, but manipulation. We live in a way that will cause people to change their opinion about us. That is natural, I guess, but it's no way to live out the one life that God has given you. And then what happens if you fail to change their opinions? You become slave to these people forever. When you live out of a place of the fear of man, you learn to just censor yourself. You learn to censor your passions. You learn to censor your beliefs, your convictions. You just live this life of censorship, not in a way that's just positive and considerate. By the way, being considerate can be a really good thing to hide behind. And maybe if you're a little bit overly considerate, you might have to check if it is the fear of man that motivates that, or if it's truly the love of people. But like I was saying, living out of a place of the fear of man really causes you to lose who you are. In my personal journey of truly discovering what I love to do, how God has called me to serve people, I found that in living from a fear of man, the source of those things came from a deep brokenness, a feeling of not being enough, and the need to adjust myself constantly to fit what I thought my current audience needed. That is a really scary, scary way to live. It robs you of the purpose that is saturated in your existence. The best thing to do when trying to shift from living a life that is controlled by a fear of man is switching that up and living a life that fears God. Proverbs chapter 9 verses 10 says, "The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." In this context, the word fear is synonymous to reverence. The word reverence is defined as deep respect for somebody or something. When talking about God, we can also look at it as awe. This is defined as a feeling of reverential respect, which is mixed with fear and wonder. I can keep going down this rabbit hole of definition, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? Proverbs 9 verse 10 encourages us to live in awe, in reverential fear and wonder of who God is. It's only in that place that we begin to find wisdom and knowledge. This is not just wisdom and knowledge that has to do with information. It is the wisdom and knowledge of how we conduct ourselves too. When we live for the fear of God, we remove all those people out of the jury box and stop looking to them for identity. Rather, we look for ways to love them well. Sometimes we might confuse fear of people for the love of people, but it's not the same thing at all. When we fear people, we are motivated by our selfishness, our desire to be perceived in a certain way, and basically our self-interest. However, when we love people, our focus is not in gratifying ourselves. It's seeking out ways that we can be of service to them and doing so authentically. When we do shift into this place of fearing God and, let's say, being in awe of God, we are free to be everything that God has created us to be. Not worrying about how you need to tweak and adjust yourself for people to accept you, but rather living from a place where you know that you're fully accepted, you're fully loved, and even that God has wired you and put you together in a way that pleases Him already. His desire is to see our truest self be unpacked as we draw closer to Him. Now imagine just being in a place where everything you do, from your gifts and your talents, your interactions with people, is for the audience of one, where all you think about is your love for God, and that drives everything that flows from it. In that way, we know our actions bring Him joy, And we know that we will get joy out of it because we are living out everything that He has created us to be. Jesus loves you exactly as you are. And when you're drawn towards Him, that's where you find transformation. Gear your life towards living in awe of God. Don't lose wonder of His majesty, of His beauty, of His greatness. And it's in this place that we truly find who we were meant to be. And we live from a place of abundance. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and like this video. Like. And then subscribe to the channel. If you know that this is a video that will help somebody, share it. Please do share it. And then encourage them to like this. Well, let's build this family. So I love you so much and take care of yourself. Until next time. Bye.